Hello, I am MK Lords of Bitcoin Not Bombs. I'm here with Lamar Wilson and Lafe Taylor of Pheeva. They developed an app that gets around the iPhone ban on Bitcoin apps, and they're also involved in the C.O.G co-op. So I talked to these guys in Texas. They're very, very interesting to talk to. Talked about building community and all these really awesome topics, and I'm really glad I got a chance to talk with them. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing great. You're doing great.
Awesome. So what is kind of y'all's personal philosophy, and what brought you into Bitcoin? How did you find out about Bitcoin?
Well, it was probably about 2 years ago. We were actually in the Valley, Silicon Valley, pitching a company, and one of the people we were pitching to, he asked us, had we heard anything about Bitcoin? And at the time, we had a gaming company that had a type of digital currency that went along with it, and actually it was called Pheeva as well. And when we heard about it, we were kind of like, big coin. We thought he said big coin, like BIG coin. But then once we went back and researched it, we was like, oh, okay, it's a digital currency, but it has nothing to do with us, it's not competing with us. So we kind of left it alone. And then probably about a year ago, something came up and I saw it again, and I said, you know what, let me dig deeper into this. And then I picked up the white paper, and it just blew me away. Like, I started seeing the freedom that a person could have over their own monetary system, so they could have their own monetary freedom. And I think that just said, whoa, like, to me, I was like, man, I can control my own money, I can be my own bank, nobody can freeze it, I can send it where I want, whenever I want. And we are big into freedom. Like, we really think that freedom is one of those things that you should not look at as a privilege. Like, freedom is your right. You have a right to be free. So I mean, and that's how we feel about the Bitcoin. Bitcoin allows you to be free with your money and do whatever you want with the currency, that you can move wherever you want, whenever you want, store it how you want, and also secure it the way you want to. So that kind of what got us interested into Bitcoin.
Yeah, and Lamar, he's a big finance nerd. That's his background. So he got into it first, and he was telling me about it, and I was like, okay, I was interested. I was like, he's a smart dude. I trust what he said. And then I started getting a slow understanding of what Bitcoin actually was, and like Lamar said, the freedom aspect is the thing that really just starts sparking my mind, and it's like, man, because it tied into so many things we have been talking about previously, about how to give back and just how to change the economics of underprivileged neighborhoods and those kinds of things. So that's what really, I guess, fueled the fire for us in terms of really diving deep into Bitcoin.
Right, and that's an interesting name, Pheeva. How did you come up with that name? Where does that come from?
Well, originally Pheeva was, we had an HTML5 game company, and a lot of people slang, like if you're shooting craps or something, you say Pheeva 5, and so HTML5, and then the fact that it's hot and we're on fire, that kind of thing. But then when we looked at it and we decided we wanted to create a wallet, it was like, the thing is that we wanted to create a hot wallet, something that people transacted with on a daily basis, and we were thinking, we already have this name Pheeva, we put so much effort into it, and it fits, right? It's a hot wallet, like there's a fever, you have a fever, and from that we were thinking, you know what, this might work, and so we just ran with it. We just kept the original name Pheeva. It's only 6 characters. It's P-H-E-E-V-A. You can't get it confused with anybody else. So we think it's a pretty cool name to have, and once people start saying it, I think it'll become part of the lexicon.
Yeah. Plus, it's a pretty nice logo, so we didn't want to get rid of that.
Yeah, Lafe did a wonderful job on the logo.
Yes, absolutely. So you guys developed a wallet that works on iPhone, and this is really interesting because Apple hasn't been very friendly with other Bitcoin wallets. They've tried to kill them all, basically, and some speculate that maybe they're trying to develop their own digital currency or something, but at the moment it's very hard to get access to a hot wallet on your iPhone. But you guys went around that, and you kind of used a creative technique to get around it that was within the guidelines of Apple. Could you explain how you did that?
So we're from Kentucky, In Kentucky, we have a lot of agricultural business here, and a lot of the agricultural businesses, a lot of those agricultural businesses are part of co-ops. And so we started looking at the idea of a cooperative before we even thought about Apple. It's kind of like Apple fell into our lap. We've been trying to figure out a way for more people to have more control and power of their own economics. So we were like, okay, can we come up with some type of cooperative? And Bitcoin allowed us to be able to send out patronage points really easy to a lot of people. I mean, patronage refunds out to a lot of people really easily. So we already had started thinking about that. And then Apple comes up with this ban, and we were like, you know what? We have this cooperative. Let's go and try to get this enterprise license. So we started doing research. And the truth of the matter is that it allowed us to go out, and because we have the cooperative, because we're willing to give back, it kind of fell into our laps. Some people call it serendipity. We call it goodwill, right? And the thing is that we started thinking like, okay, if our co-op allows us to get around Apple, then we need to push that co-op as much as we possibly can. And like I said, we weren't planning to try to beat Apple, and we're not trying to beat Apple. So we've called Apple. We talked to them about what it is that we're doing with the cooperative and being able to create applications. So Love Will creates applications for the cooperative, and we will just continue to keep making applications that the cooperative can use and love. So.
Oh yeah. So. Go ahead, Lafe. Go ahead.
Also, like Lamar was saying, it's not that we were trying to get around Apple. We already had plans on building the application for the iPhone, and then the ban happened. And like you said, we've been discussing cooperatives for quite a while now. We've actually worked with some here in Kentucky. So, like you said, it just happened to fit at the right time, and the fact that we were already thinking on that plan and that path, it just fell into place. We're trying to get over on anybody. I mean, the fact that we're trying to give back shows that we're not trying to get over on people. So that is just the way we think and the way we operate. So that's why the cooperative fit perfectly into the game plan of what Pheeva and Love Will was doing.
And it was just really crazy because we were like, man, this cooperative helps us to get into the game.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, oh, if we're creative enough, we can use this cooperative to help us to put a wallet out there for the iPhone. Because think about it, we already had the Chrome extension. We were already in the process of building iPhone and Android. It's just that Apple, I mean, for whatever reason, decided that they didn't want everyone to get a Bitcoin wallet. So, I mean, right now we're pretty much the only way to get a native one, and it kind of fell in our laps that way.
And so you sign up for the wallet by signing up for the co-op, C.O.G, co-op, C.O.G. So what are some other projects that you're working on with the co-op? How does the giving back process work?
Well, right now we're trying to build groundswell for the cooperative. The way the cooperative actually works is like an incentivized sales force, so to speak. So it's designed to get people to share the application and get more people within the cooperative, because it works by numbers, right? It's like the network effect. The more people we get within the cooperative, the more valuable the cooperative comes. So that means we can get retailers and advertisers to start spending to market toward the cooperative, which in turn generates the revenue for us to give back to the people that are part of the cooperative. So it's like a synergistic effect. It's kind of how we got the C.O.G, you know, it's a whole cycle aspect of it. You know, one feeds into the other, and there's just like an economy that just works for everybody. It's beneficial for the members of the cooperative, as well as beneficial for the advertisers that advertise directly toward people that are interested in Bitcoin and that use Bitcoin.
And for us, I think it's very unique in that at Love Will, we literally have limited ourselves pretty much to one customer. And our one customer is the C.O.G cooperative. So all the different features that you are seeing coming into the application, outside of maybe the plus, like I think we kind of thought of that kind of stuff on our own, but as far as like zooming in on the QR code, being able to import a wallet, now we added a transaction list because one of our members came back and said we would love to have a transaction list. We really want to just take care of our members, and those members are the one that guide how we develop this software. It's very new. It's very new when you start thinking about, okay, people say customers run the software, but in this situation, they literally run the software. And right now, we're just trying to figure out revenue streams so that we can get a stockpile that we can give back, because we feel like the easiest way for someone to get Bitcoin is for someone to give them Bitcoin. They don't have to put any credit card information. They don't have to go out and sell a baby or whatever you got to do to get in some of these sites for identification purposes. All they have to do is just own the wallet. And we're going to try to figure out ways to get revenue back into the cooperative that the cooperative can spread out legally to everyone in the cooperative. And the way you get a piece of that is through patronage points. So if anybody is familiar with a cooperative works like this. You basically get back from the cooperative what you put in. So if you buy more stuff in the cooperative, then you tend to get more discount, right? In this situation, this cooperative is a marketing cooperative or a sales cooperative. So if you get more people on, like if you can bring your mom, your sister, your brother, your cousin on, Ned down the street, then those people help you to get more patronage points because you've actually gone out and done the work to get people into the cooperative. And then from that point, all of a sudden now you get more patronage points, which means when it's time for distribution, you get more of the share because you've done most of the work. And we just feel like, I mean, it's not something where we just giving away. Like owning the wallet, you automatically get a patronage point. But from that point forward, it's about how much you try to spread and help with love, will. And then once again, it goes back to what Lafe was saying. It's a cycle. So the cooperative helps the company by spreading the word, and then the company goes out and tries to find revenue to get back to the cooperative. So it all works together, and that's what we call potluck capitalism. Everybody brings their sources to the table, and everybody eats. And as you can see, I'm not really a stranger to eating, so I enjoy that.
Well, and I really like that term potluck capitalism. We talked about this a little bit in Texas. It very much is an alternative to the kind of monopoly capitalist system that we're used to. A lot of people think of capitalism, they think of the monopoly man twirling his mustache and making, you know, a ton of money off of poor people, basically. And that's not how potluck capitalism works at all. It empowers the community. So what are some more contrasts between potluck capitalism and monopoly capitalism?
Well, when we thought about potluck capitalism and what we could do, it really brought us back to our definition of what we really feel like true love is, right? And we believe that true love is sacrifice. Like, you got to be willing to give. If you really love, then you're willing to give. And for us, it's like we want to be able to spread love through our companies. That's why the name is Love Will. That's why the C.O.G Cooperative, it comes from a principle of what's called the cycle of goodness. So we really want to show that in our company, and we thought to ourselves, we're like, I mean, why not do it? Some people have laughed at the name, like, why would you give that kind of name to your company? But at the end of the day, we want our company name to really show and share the principles that we live by every day. Like, we really enjoy giving back. We really enjoy trying to figure out ways to help other people. And so why not do it with the company as well, and let's all grow together. I mean, it's not about us getting to be fat cats. That's the big thing. Like, we're sacrificing some of our revenue, some of our profits, actually a lot of our profits and a lot of our revenue to everybody who's out helping us do this. It's not about us being huge fat cats and getting on the Fortunes and Forbes list and all of these other things. It's about all of us working together to move up collectively. So.
Yeah, for people that don't know us, which is a lot of people, like what we do here in Kentucky, as a matter of fact, the space that we're interviewing in right now is called the Ignite Project, and it's something that Lamar and I came up with a while ago. We envisioned it. We talked about ways to help people learn technology, especially during the time of the economic crisis when jobs were very few. You know, my motto is, if you can't find a job, create one. So what we decided to do was open up a location to where we could teach people how to use technology to make money. Everybody has smartphones, everybody's on the internet, but people don't know how to use those things in order to make money. So we came up with the Ignite Project, us and a group called Super Soul that works out of here as well. We partnered with the Urban League in Lexington, and we got this space that people can come in and work for free. They get free internet, free desk space. We get free training. Those kinds of things is just a part of who we are, because it's our philosophy. That's actually what made me and Lamar partner up years ago for another company, is the fact that we truly, truly care about people, and that's our whole initiative. I mean, what's the point in living life and gaining things and you don't benefit anybody else with it?
Yeah, you don't help anybody else out. I mean, another part of it, what Lafe was talking about with the Ignite Project, we also get interns from the neighborhood. We like to keep the address at Georgetown Street, because in our city, if you say Georgetown Street to a lot of people, they think it's a bad neighborhood. Well, I grew up off of Georgetown Street. Lafe grew up out here. He lived out here a little bit. And we don't feel like it's a bad neighborhood. We think it might get a bad rap. But we also feel like having that name and having Georgetown Street on all of our mail and everything like that kind of shows that you can bring high-tech companies into an area that most people kind of look down upon. And so we also get some of the kids from up the street. Last year we had 3 teenagers here that live right off of Georgetown Street come down and do internships. So we taught them how to code, and we tried to teach them how to do entrepreneurship, and they found out how hard it really is to get out there and sell things. But it was a learning experience for them. There's another gentleman that comes in who started with us. He actually is our first intern. He's directly off of this street, lived in these neighborhoods where people would consider the hood, and he really didn't know how to code much. And he allows me to say this. He probably wouldn't be able to conventionally get a computer science degree because he cannot do fractions. Like, he literally cannot do fractions. Like, my daughter does fractions, and she's in the 3rd grade, and he can't seem to do those fractions. And so he probably wouldn't be able to go through all the rigorous math requirements for a degree. But yeah, the weed out courses, but he can program his butt off. And I think those are the kind of things that we can help with in the Ignite project. That's what we do. We're like, okay, you know how to code. We're not asking you to do fractions. We're asking you to learn how to code. So he comes and learns how to code, and he actually just launched his first social network. It's called Gospel Links, gospel-links.org. And so he launched it. We told him to get it out there, even if it has breaks or bruises or whatever, but he got it out there, and he really feels really proud about that. The fact that he's taken that idea, put it on the internet, and just several years ago when he first came in, you just have to understand he was coming in with brass knuckles because he was getting jumped on the street. So like he would ride here, and on the way here, sometimes he would get jumped. Like somebody would jump him, and then like he considered some of the people, his friends who were around him, who would jump him or mess with him, take his phone, that kind of thing. So he started wearing brass knuckles, and he's gone from that to literally just being a pure programmer and learning how to make websites and stuff for people to change his life. So those are the kind of things that we believe in. Like, period. That's who we are. That's what we've always done. And now all of a sudden, out of the sky drops Bitcoin, right? And it's like, yeah, we can use Bitcoin to empower people the same way we do with code. So.
And that's awesome. It's something I really love about, especially the charity sector of the Bitcoin community. You have all of this support and kind of, mutual helping each other out because we want this to grow. I mean, I've given away a lot of Bitcoin to people just like, listen, you have to try this technology. It's completely groundbreaking because the current system we have in a lot of ways, especially even in the educational system, it doesn't meet the needs of the people, especially younger generations, and especially kids who learn differently than other kids who don't, fit into the whole memorization and, regurgitation process. So I really like that you guys are taking a direct action approach as opposed to, I do a lot of writing about some of these topics, things about social justice. There are obvious problems that need to be addressed, and I really think this technology it directly addresses it by building this new economy that anyone can participate in. And I really think that's amazing. So what are some of the other kind of projects you're working on?
I mean, that's pretty much it. We really are trying to, like, we have another business called 212 that we make software for small businesses. But I mean, we still focus on that, and that's growing really well. But we really want to put a lot of time, all of our time and effort, into growing this Pheeva Wallet and this Bitcoin economy, because freedom is just a wonderful thing. And I have to step away for a second. I have to go get our intern. He's downstairs. It's a Saturday, so nobody's here to buzz him in. So I'll be right back so Lafe can finish up and talk to you more about the projects. I'll be right back.
Yeah, and also one of the other things that we're doing, I just thought about it. Sometimes when people ask you a question, you go blank. We're partnering with some of the universities in the state to go around and just give Bitcoin seminars. That's something that we started before it was during the time that we launched Pheeva. We started giving like free seminars to people just to explain what Bitcoin is and just get rid of some of the questions that people have. We had one across the street at another university at BCTC. We're also we're partnering with Morehead State University, Eastern Kentucky University, the Kentucky Science and Space and Technology Center. So we're partnering with those kinds of things. Again, becoming evangelists of Bitcoin, going around to different groups. I used to call myself a lifetime board member. I used to be on all these boards within the city. So I'm taking advantage of that, going to some of these boards and actually getting people into Bitcoin that normally wouldn't even barely be in the internet. You know, so those are some of the kinds of things that we're doing, and just evangelizing, just spreading the word, and really trying to gain members for the cooperative so we can produce more software for them and make life easier for them.
So what has been the feedback from the community, you know, negative or positive? Have you seen a lot of positive feedback? Have you encountered any backlash at all?
Locally, we've really not encountered a lot of backlash. Just people, again, you know, all the news that initially started with Bitcoin was all negative and those kinds of things, sensationalism. Just really addressing those kinds of things. But for the most part, I mean, because we were literally probably the first people promoting Bitcoin in Kentucky, especially Lexington area, we've not received a lot of feedback. We actually get like a lot of inquiries. People come to us. We were the first people on the Bitcoin map in Kentucky, Coin map. So people come to us and ask us questions. They're really interested in it. Lately, the spin has gotten a lot better around Bitcoin. You know, now that Gox is gone and all the other things that have been going on with Bitcoin. So it's really been, the feedback for us has been positive.
Yeah, we enjoy educating too. I don't know if like talking
about. Yes, what I was just talking about.
Yeah, we just enjoy educating too. So what's been crazy is at first when we used to put up a lot of posts on Facebook, people would say stuff like, "It's just crazy money you talking about. It's just funny money," and we would get all kinds of, you know, you probably dealt with it too. It's like, is this real money? What is this stuff you're talking about? You see a Bitcoin?
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it. And now we've been getting requests. Like the other day, we actually had a one-on-one consultation with the young lady, and really what she said to me was very powerful. She said, you know, I do a lot of things, and I do Avon and those kind of things. And she said, but I really started looking into Bitcoin even before I saw that you guys were doing it. And she said, because I realized I want to leave something because she had her twins with her. She said, I want to leave something for this younger generation. And she said, and for their generations after that. And when you hear a young mother say that, and you're just looking like, man, this is what people really see in Bitcoin. Like if they really see the freedom that it provides and see the opportunity that it provides to almost even and level out the playing field, they really want to get involved. And we taught her how to set up a wallet, taught her about paper wallets, like things like that. We literally let you come in and whatever tech you want to deal with, you can. And lately, it's been that people want to learn more about Bitcoin. I've been approached on the street. I was at somebody's birthday party at one of the local clubs right here on Georgetown Street, and the guy was like, man, how do I get into this Bitcoin thing? Which I think is so cool. Like especially in lower underprivileged neighborhoods, right? It's like to have people talking about finances in a different way, right? And
about finances, period.
Yeah, talking about finances, period. And it's like, to me, that's really a freeing and very liberating thing, man. Like, it's awesome. It really is. It makes you smile. So
yeah, especially I think about I have an older cousin. He's probably in the 70s, and he was asking me about Bitcoin, and he was interested in it. And even the fact that my mom, who just recently got an iPad within the past few months, she's like now tech savvy, I guess. You know, she wants Bitcoin, and she has the Pheeva Wallet. So just those kinds of things really makes it worthwhile, especially getting people into technology that really weren't in there in the first place.
Right, and I wasn't super into technology before I really started looking into Bitcoin. I kind of had the same approach other people did. What is this magical internet money? And now, if I do get the rare chance that I get to leave the house and go somewhere, I'm known as, I guess, the Bitcoin girl, or in Pensacola, like people come up to me and are like, what is this Bitcoin? Tell me more about it. And it's really awesome, especially when you think about the opportunities it gives to the unbanked, because there are tens of thousands of people who are unbanked in this country, a lot of times by choice. I think there's a long history of distrusting the banks, and I think for good reason too. In certain communities, banks would literally steal money from people, and they wouldn't be able to, get it there. Before the FDIC and all this. So it's really great for the unbanked and really great for people who are, maybe kind of skeptical of the banking system or even the government in some ways too. So that's really my favorite part about it, is the kind of social justice aspects of it, the ways they can empower your local community, and whether you're an entrepreneur or a student especially. I really think that this upcoming generation is going to get it better than a lot of some of the older generations. A lot of older people are still kind of hesitant to it, just as they were resistant to the internet. So I really hope to see a lot more younger people getting involved in it. So I really appreciate what you guys are doing with that. So what are some things other people can do to get folks involved in Bitcoin who don't fit the kind of demographic that you usually see? I mean, in the tech field, one of the critiques you see is that it's a mostly white male-dominated field, and obviously people would like to see more diversity. So what can people do to help others get into Bitcoin?
I think the biggest thing is just really to educate, like be an open book. So if it's just almost like with us in code. Like Lafe and I didn't come from a background where a lot of people around us did code, right? Like understood how to code or anything like that. It's not like we were Bill Gates and we were in some computer club. You know what I'm saying? So we got educated late, and I think if we had an interest, there was nobody around for us to talk to anyway. So that's the reason why we try to be as visible as possible, so that people can put it out there and tell people what we're doing, so that people that do have questions know they at least have a resource. I think a lot of times that's what happens, is that the accessibility of it is there, but if you don't have a resource and if you don't even know what's there to get, then you don't really, you don't really have an opportunity to go get it. And so we just try to be visible and tell people about it, and to educate, send the white paper around. I mean, Lafe's been working with the economic group here in Lexington, and he sent the white paper out, and it blew me away. This older black gentleman came in, and to me, it's not a black and white, green, yellow, anything kind of issue. It's more about class. Like, it's more about, you know what I mean? Like, in that situation, it's more about people not having the access to it. But he comes in, and he literally just explained Bitcoin to us, because the way he said, so is this how you do it? And when he started talking, it was like, you got it. Like, you literally got it. And he's probably, 60 years old? Yeah. Like, 60-year-old African-American male. So he got it. Like, Lafe sent him the white paper, he read it, and he saw it like this. And to me, that's really what it's about, man. Just get that white paper out there. Like, that's the one thing that opened my eyes up, just seeing what Satoshi's initial idea was, like, to see exactly what he was thinking when he invented, or he, she, them, they, aliens, whoever Satoshi is, whoever they are, just seeing their initial idea and getting that out there, and then letting people's ideas flow from that. Like Lafe said, just the fact that I was in finance, I have a finance degree, and I know how to code. It's like the greatest marriage of all times for me. Like, I'm glad to be at that wedding. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think to get it into more people's hands is education, visibility, letting people know where the resources are, and then also providing opportunity. I mean, literally opening up doors that normally are closed to people. Like, for us to provide opportunity to those people who feel like that they've been shut out, right? Because a lot of times people won't deal with you because they're trying to get it for themselves. They're always trying to get money for themselves, or trying to get ahead for themselves and try to move to the top so they can be billionaires, so they can own a private jet or whatever. I don't know what people's goals and aspirations are. Our goals and aspirations are about trying to allow more people economic freedom. So that's why we live the life how we do, and try to open up doors for whoever. Like, we try to provide opportunity for whoever comes in. We don't care white, black, green, yellow, male, female, or in between. So
yeah, and also one thing that we like to pride ourselves on is having people be unique to who they really are, and I think that'll breed a lot of like newcomers into the space, because again, you look at Bitcoin, and like you said, it's predominantly white male, techie, nerd types, and I always say that the differentiator between us and a lot of other people is the fact of our backgrounds and our experiences make us uniquely who we are. So we need to take advantage of those experiences and those uniquenesses, and spread it to as many people from our perspective. A lot of times, you might not understand one person's perspective. However, if somebody else explains it to you from their background and their history, it makes a whole lot of sense. You know, just like you, when you were talking about, you know, first you weren't even from a tech background. However, when you know, understood about the freedom aspect and those kinds of things, they gave you a unique perspective. So that's one way we can spread it, you know, because again, I think that's what makes the Pheeva Wallet so different. We didn't approach it like everybody else approached it. You know, a lot of the wallets, you know, there's some good wallets out there, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the wallets are overly technical. And the average population, even though we're in this internet age, they're not technical people. So we approached it from a consumer standpoint. Like, okay, again, we always like you said, our moms. How would our moms use this product? How would people that don't have a tech background use this product? So I think that's what makes our approach unique. We approached it from a business standpoint. You know, and so I think if we like just stay true to who you are as a person and explaining it, because again, that provides empathy and compassion. Because tech can be very stark and people are already afraid of it. So if you can show empathy and compassion and just explain it to people, take time, don't get frustrated, those kinds of things. Don't look at them like they're stupid and all those kinds of things. You just take time and just handwalk people through the process. Once they get it, they got it. And then they can go spread the word to somebody else. So that's our approach, and I think a lot of people, especially I know there's more compassion from the female side of Bitcoin than anything. So that's why I'm always interested in getting more females into Bitcoin. But just those kinds of things will actually, I think, bring more people into the Bitcoin space and make it more user-friendly and approachable.
And Lafe's married. Just let you know, Lafe is married, by the way.
Yeah, I always talk to my wife when I go to conferences. I just say, baby, I'm ready to talk to all these females, just so you know. And I'm always interested in how females get on-ramped into Bitcoin. Yeah. You know, some people look at me like, just because I'm female doesn't mean anything, but looking at the background of the general populace of what the cryptocurrency space looks like, it's very important to talk to females in the space.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and that's something I always mention at conferences too. It's like, I'm married, like, but I have been. Right. It's like, but I've got a lot of really positive feedback from, you know, a lot of guys at conferences who are saying the same things. Like, we want to get more females involved because there are some slight differences, you know, between females and males. I think, you know, I don't want to be seen as my gender. I'd rather be seen for the work that I put in. But, you know, there are slight differences that I think are benefits. You see a lot of women involved in the charity space, and I think that's really great. Mm-hmm. And so Satoshi, no matter who Satoshi is obviously a very radical figure who is all about empowerment. I mean, you have this technical aspect, but you very much have this humanitarian aspect of Bitcoin that really brings people together and empowers them and gives, like you were saying, opportunities to people who are, maybe they can't get a regular job. Maybe they're unable to start their own company. If you've ever tried to, I know you guys have probably gone through this, the regulations of trying to start your own company are very prohibitive for people who don't have a lot of access to capital. And I think Bitcoin completely supersedes that system. You have this setup to where, you know, you put a Pheeva wallet on your phone, all of a sudden you just give that code to someone and you can provide goods and services, and it's all, you know, kind of this alternative economy, and it's very much going around the regulations, not so much, you know, coming out against them, you know, in a kind of, you know, brilliant display of force or anything, but just kind of going under the radar. And I really think that's very interesting. And I really like the app. Like you were saying, it's very easy to use. I've been kind of playing with it, and I like that you added the gift function. GYFT is an app you can turn Bitcoins into gift cards with, and that's been added to the Pheeva wallet. How did you incorporate that? That's really interesting.
So we thought, once again, it's all about adoption and making it really easy to transact in Bitcoin. So there's one idea to go out and try to land every retailer and get them to accept Bitcoin. That's one idea, right? And then hopefully at some point every retailer will understand that they can take Bitcoin and it's okay. Hopefully that's the wave that comes from 2014 to 2015. But before that, there is still a way for people to use their Bitcoins at some of the largest brands. And so we were like, if we make that as frictionless as possible within our wallet, then more people can use Bitcoin, so they feel better about accepting it for payment. They feel better about accepting it for salary. They feel better about accepting it because now they can use it for their everyday needs. And I think that's where Bitcoin has to go. For us, it's like the most important things that Bitcoin provides is the remittances, like being able to send money back home. I think that's huge. on Georgetown Street and around Georgetown Street, there's a very high Hispanic population as well, and many of those people send money home, and so that's huge for us. And then also the fact that you're able to use Bitcoin on the internet without giving up all of your information, like keeping your privacy where it is and not giving up a bunch of information to some website that literally can save it and get hacked and they take all your money or whatever. And I know these companies give money back, but that's why you pay so much in fees, because they're handling all this fraud and they have to pay for the paperwork and all of the different transactions. So for us, those two things, like remittances and the internet, are huge parts of Bitcoin, and so in being able to transact it. And so what we did was we took Gift and said, okay, we have the online stuff going, we have the remittances part going, so how can you transact that at Whole Foods? If you need, I'm just saying Whole Foods because that's one of the apps, I mean one of the gift cards. If you need groceries, it's pretty difficult trying to go get groceries with Bitcoin at your local market, right?
Especially in Kentucky.
Yeah, especially in Kentucky. So, I mean, Whole Foods allows you to go get groceries, like your everyday needs and necessities, right then and there. So, I think the Gift app is just the first, though. It's the very first partnership. We've been contacted by several companies, and we're going to keep adding different things. It's called Pheeva Plus. We branded it as Pheeva Plus, so Pheeva Plus Gift. And we've been adding. We're going to be adding new companies coming up soon. You'll see it when it comes out. We just want to make it super duper easy for the average person to get into Bitcoin and not feel afraid. Like, how do I use this? How do I spend this? So.
Yeah, because again, one of the things that's funny, somebody like that saw that, and actually the fact that we went to a local restaurant yesterday and used Bitcoin to buy food, and people were amazed that you could use Bitcoin to buy stuff. You know, they were like, "Oh my God, you bought real stuff with it." You know, so those kinds of things, you know, if we can show them, especially within the app, without having to leave the environment, that you can actually purchase things and use them. I think that's real huge for user adoption.
Right. I think the more kind of hands-on examples you have that people can see, the easier adoption will be. That's really my favorite thing to do when I'm telling someone about Bitcoin, is just to pull out my phone, send them some coins, like set them up with an app, just show them how easy it is. Because even with some of the other more technical apps, it's still pretty easy to kind of get set up and get started. And that's really interesting. So you're kind of developing more apps for Pheeva. What kind of apps do you have in mind for the future?
So, I mean, for a lot of people, because we are a hot wallet, we want to look at ourselves in the same light as the way that Visa handles with banks, right? So people have their bank card. It might be Central Bank of Florida, right? But at the bottom you see Visa, because Visa handles the transactions and things. Well, for us, I mean, it would be great to have partnerships with some of the large, what we would consider bank-like Bitcoin companies, that we can become the transactional wallet, because you don't want to be carrying around all of your Bitcoin. You shouldn't. It's just not good practice, period. You should have most of your Bitcoin on paper, probably right now, until we get more multi-sig wallets out there. But you don't want to be carrying around all of this Bitcoin in one application. So you should be able to take your money just the same way you do with a checking and savings account. You don't carry all your money on your debit card. You put the amount of money you're going to spend on there, and that's what you use. And that's what the Pheeva Hot Wallet idea is. It's more about being able to have a transactional wallet. So we would love to do things with companies like Coinbase, Circle, like those huge companies that people may store a lot of Bitcoin with, that they just want to have some, so while they're out roaming the street or while they're shopping on the internet, they can use the Pheeva wallet to transact in that Bitcoin and then, you know, put money in and out easily. I think those are some of the things. And then just being able to give, like getting with the Big Give Foundation, getting with you guys and Sean's Outpost, and possibly putting some charity spots in the back to make it really, really easy to find charities to give to. I think that'll be one of the apps that we probably do ourselves. I don't know if it'll be, I guess maybe we just do Pheeva Plus Charity. So we maybe put all the charities in there in that one spot. But I think that's awesome too, just to be able to give, because that's a huge thing, man. Like, if there's something going on in Louisiana and you're, I mean, let's say another country, because Louisiana's too close. Let's say if something's going on in Singapore, there's a tsunami or something, right? And it takes out whatever, and you can send money immediately in 10-minute confirmation time to this other country and help these people out immediately. There's no planes, trains, nothing has to happen. You don't have to wait 3 days to transfer it and all of that. You can literally send money that can be used almost immediately to go get water for people, right? So, or go get whatever, get necessities for people. I think that's huge. So I think us figuring out a way to put some type of charity stuff into the app is going to be huge. I mean, we're all about giving anyway, so it's perfect, right?
And that really is, and I talk about this all the time, really is my favorite aspect of Bitcoin is the charitable aspect. And Free Aid actually did this when the tsunami hit in the Philippines. They set up a Bitcoin wallet for someone who's on the ground there, and they were able to get aid there immediately. And it's life-changing for people, especially at Bitcoin Not Bombs. We're all about breaking down borders, these ideas of these kind of imaginary lines that separate us from other people. We're not about that. We want Bitcoin to, be worldwide and really get spread out. And it's a really beautiful thing. So let's see. We were talking. What are some of the other kind of projects that are coming out as far as like anonymity or maybe other projects, maybe not necessarily associated with Pheeva, that you guys are excited about? You mentioned multi-sig wallets. What's some other blockchain technology that you're excited about seeing?
I mean, we love multi-sig wallets. Don't be surprised if you see a Pheeva multi-sig wallet really soon. We love the multi-sig wallets. We love the payment protocol, even though we have some different ideas about it and how to use it. We have ideas of our own about how to do the payment protocol in a more secure way, which you may see a little bit more of that. But a lot of the technologies that are coming out, because people got doxxed, right? Like, after everyone got doxxed, everyone said, maybe we should start using this multi-sig thing, which to me is really, 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 really cool. I love multi-sig. I mean, I think we need to test it more and make sure that everything's working the way it should work. But multi-sig to me is the future. And even for the Pheeva hot wallet, the Pheeva hot wallet itself may not be multi-sig because it's a hot wallet. We want you to be able to transact as quickly as possible, be able to get the money in and out of it as fast as you possibly can. So I think that is probably not going to change much, but we will have maybe a Pheeva multi-sig wallet, and not the Pheeva hot wallet, not the original wallet.
Yeah, and also some of the things that are really piquing our interest is a lot of the partnerships that have been going down lately, especially with Coinbase, BitPay. Just some of the partnerships that you see that Bitcoin is spreading into the real world, so to speak. So those things are very exciting to see, the partnerships that are aligning within the space, and that gives us a lot of hope.
And another thing that's huge for us is the private public key pair. So being able to verify who paid for something and give access to something or a contract or whatever, to us, that's huge. I mean, you're talking about now we can tell who you are. You don't have to give us your information. We don't need to get any. You don't get your name and your address and phone number. All we need to know is that you can sign this message. You can sign this message with your key, and we know you're the same person that sent it in the first place, right? That is huge. And I think there's a lot of applications that can be built on top of that I think it really interests us a lot. Other than like the multi-sig stuff, though, it's like Bitcoin is pretty much perfect for us right now, to be honest. I really like what just goes on with Bitcoin as it is, and I know a lot of people are building things on top, but for us, I mean, the freedom part, as it is, the freedom part is wonderful. Yeah, there's some things like being able to do more transactions in a block and those little things, but I know somebody's gonna fix those. I know those the great guys that are dealing with the core are gonna fix those, but other than that, man, like, we just love Bitcoin. We love Bitcoin for what it is. Like, seriously, she's beautiful to us.
And you guys are doing so much with it. You're really showing the true potential for it to help people and empower people, especially in younger generations. And again, I can't thank you enough for the kind of work that you're doing, because a bunch of people have made money off of Bitcoin. It's something that's been really lucrative for people, and that's great. You know, that's awesome that there's all of these younger people who have a lot of money now, but like, where is this going to be applied? Where can it really help people? There are a bunch of people out there who need the actual help, and that to me should be a huge focus. It looks like we actually have a question from the audience. Let's see. This is from Tim Fry. Any plans to allow advertising for businesses within Pheeva? Businesses could provide discounts, etc., and co-op members could share the revenues.
Yes, that is coming. We've talked about that from the beginning. The gift partnership kind of went faster than us building out the thing for the advertisements, because gift kind of already had their whole infrastructure taken care of. But we are definitely building that infrastructure. And I think there's a certain company that possibly may be the first advertiser that gets to get on there, and they know who they are. But yeah, we're building that infrastructure out right now. We have a couple of interns that we've brought in that are actively working on applications. And we also have another application that's not necessarily Bitcoin. You'll be able to use Bitcoin in it, but it all lends back to the whole love will philosophy of the gig economy. So be on the lookout for that as well. But yeah, we are definitely working on that ad network. It's coming along, and it'll be a place where people can use their Bitcoins to advertise. They can use their Bitcoins directly in the system to advertise and not have to worry about dealing with fiat. So, yeah, that's a great question there, Tim Fry. I appreciate that.
So, let's see. Where can people keep in touch with the C.O.G Co-op and some of the other projects you're working on? What's the best source of information to keep in touch with you guys?
They can go to the website or hit us up at hello@Pheeva. That comes to both of us, and we try to answer every question personally. We try to be hands-on with everybody, because we don't see them as customers. They're members of the cooperative, and they have just as much say as how things go as we do. So we always we take time out to walk people through the whole process of signing up. Because again, not everybody is, technically savvy, so to speak. So we take that time out. My schedule, no matter how late or whenever they hit us up, we try to answer the questions, help them out, and be as available as possible.
We have to get this Australia time under wraps, though. We keep getting requests from Australia, and then we hit them up when it's 3 in the morning. So you gotta make sure we get that Australia time down. But yeah, we're accessible. I mean, my personal email is Lamar at Pheeva. Yeah. Lafe is really easy, Lafe at Pheeva. You can also give me a call. I'll put my phone number out there. It's 859-554-0227. You can call me directly. I will talk you through the app. We see that there's bugs, but with any software there will be bugs. And sometimes it just depends on the device you're on or whatever. So if you have that issue, please email us. Please call us. However you want to contact us, we'll try to answer immediately. It's funny how many times I get back an email that says, "Man, that was fast," because we are programmers at the end of the day, so we're always next to a computer. So we almost use email like chat.
Yeah,
if you want to hit us up on Google Chat or whatever, Lamar at Pheeva. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to get in contact with us, and we will definitely answer your calls. We'll talk to you. We'll sing a song with you if you want us to. Whatever it is that'll make you feel comfortable, we'll take care of you. Because, like I said, like Lafe said, actually, it's more about you being a partner with us and not just some customer that that you have the app and you go on your way. So
yeah, we truly care about people. I know we don't want to say it, make it seem cliche, but we really do. We try to be as transparent as humanly possible and be available as humanly possible.
And that's a great contrast with what you guys are doing versus maybe some of the other larger companies, or even something like the foundation, where you have this kind of gray area. You're not really sure what the foundation's doing as far as education. They don't really, at least to me, I haven't seen a whole lot of the results from them. And you guys are more direct about it. You're very easy to get in touch with, and you do obviously care. You're walking people through setting up and everything, and I think that's awesome. And something Bitcoin Not Bombs has done is we have these quick start guides to get people really easily started with Bitcoin. I don't know if I got to show you this in Texas when we were talking, but we've translated them into Spanish now too, because in this area and in parts of Texas, in the South in general, you have a lot of people coming over from other countries like Mexico and stuff, and the remittances is a huge aspect of it for us too. So I can definitely get you guys some quick start guides in Spanish and English if you guys would like some. I know you guys are in education. It might be just another tool that you could use. It's very easy, very simply explained. So you guys are going to be talking about Bitcoin in the Beltway coming up, right?
Yep.
So So I'm really excited about this conference. It's going to be a little more of a radical conference than some of the other Bitcoin conferences we've had. So the name of your talk will be The Least of These and the Giving Economy. So you'll be kind of talking about co-ops and all that, right? A kind of description of the talk.
Yeah, and it's pretty much the least of these is actually from Bible verse, and what it talks about is just reaching out to the people that most people overlook. And that's kind of what we do, is kind of who we are. If you don't touch the least of these, then Bitcoin is not going to be effective. If you don't touch everybody with it, if you don't take it to the people that everybody else neglects, give them those opportunities, because you never know where true innovation is going to come from. It could be any one of these, just like Lamar was saying, the 60-year-old man who I gave the white paper to, it just like totally blew his mind. And he came up with all of these analogies and these ideas, and it was just out of nowhere. And he literally had just read the white paper the day before, and he came in there and just like basically laid out all of what Bitcoin was and the possibilities and potential. So it's those kinds of things that makes it exciting. Like I said, we're talking to different groups of people, a variety of people. We talk to everybody. My kids know about Bitcoins, and I know Lamar's kids do too. So it's just those kinds of things. It's just reaching out to the, the untouchable, so to speak. But it's just everybody. It's not, turning a blind eye to anybody. It's just really just being open and having compassion for all people, and then teaching them about Bitcoin and what it can do, and just in general, just love people, and then you can share your wealth of knowledge with them at any time.
Yeah, Lafe makes a really great point by saying that until Bitcoin touches the least of these, then it won't really spread. And I think that is a great point, because you have to get the technology into the hands of everyone. For me, it really goes back to understanding about information, and how back in the day, not even too long ago, certain people didn't have access to information. In the church, only the priests could read the Bible, right? Kings and lords were the only ones that had libraries, and the peasants couldn't read and get information. And I think the internet democratized information in a way that allowed people to start learning on their own. It allowed me, as a finance guy, to learn how to code, right? It gave me the ability to do something that I probably wouldn't have been able to do, because they wouldn't have had, because even now to this day on our side of town, on this side of town, in the library, there are hardly any books on how to code for certain things, right? So if you don't have the internet there to be able to go look things up, it's kind of hard to get information. And we feel like Bitcoin, the same way the internet did for information, Bitcoin will do for money. It really will allow more people access, and more people the ability to do things with money that they wouldn't have in the past been able to understand how to do. It gives them the complete freedom to just be and do and sell. And like, I always like that story about the guy that makes music in Iran, who, of course, we won't be able to send him money because he's in Iran, but his music's awesome, so you can get him Bitcoin, and he can get you the music digitally. That to me is amazing, right? Just because our countries are not like on the same path doesn't mean that every person in that country is a bad individual. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because we have enemies country-wise, governments are enemies of each other, doesn't mean that the people inside those countries, kids, women, men, who have nothing to do, and they might even believe in what the government's doing, doesn't mean that we shouldn't be able to transact and talk to them and share goods and share knowledge and share wealth and just everything, man. Like, I really believe that Bitcoin will do the same thing that the internet did for information. It will do the exact same thing for money, and I think we're just so early on right now that we're going to see how this is going to change the world. So.
And it's very interesting because it's a lot of times it is governments who are waging these wars. The people who are living under these governments, they don't want to fight each other. I don't have beef with anyone over in Iran or Iraq or Libya or Syria. Like, I don't want to fight these people. Like, they're just other humans to me that I feel that I should be allowed to trade with and to communicate with and send Bitcoins to. So there's a huge disruptive element of Bitcoin that makes governments in a lot of ways irrelevant, as far as even like something like the welfare system, which is a really broken system. A lot of people fall through the cracks that should be getting help. And that's something that Jason King of Sean's Outfits talks about all the time, is these people, if you believe the system, if you believe in the system, these are the people the system should be helping, and they're not getting help. So Bitcoin is just another way to directly get them aid and completely go around these prohibitive government functions. And even as far as a warfare state too, I think is even much more destructive and in a lot of ways causes the welfare state. It keeps people impoverished, especially in other countries. So. Is there anything else you guys would like to add? Any other topics you'd like to talk about?
I just love people.
Yeah, love.
It's as simple as that.
Love, love, love. Like, really love, you know? At the end of the day, if everybody loved, this world would be a lot better. Oh, I guess there's another question.
Yeah, it looks like we have another question from Charisse Wilson.
Yeah, that's my wife, it looks like.
Awesome. All right. So she's asking, you believe the internet can provide education about Bitcoin. So can we expect webinars from Love Will on the subject for people that want to learn more but can't make it to a conference? Oh, that's really good because these conferences are really, really expensive. I don't go unless I'm invited to go because I can't afford them.
Right.
So yeah, any webinars?
Yeah, we'll be definitely recording all of the talks that we do around Kentucky. We'll record those live and live stream some of those as well. We'll be doing personal ones coming up soon.
I'm laughing because it's just like a wife to give their husband some work to do. I love you. I know you're watching or whatever, but yeah, we definitely think that, man, it might be cool. I mean, we're saying this now, but maybe we put together a online conference, like a free online conference.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, we have skills to do websites, right? So maybe we put together a free online conference where it's mostly like Google Hangouts, like live Google Hangouts constantly, from some of the greatest names in the Bitcoin space right now, some of the people who are really out there making moves and doing things, and instead of flying them to certain locales, let's do a wide open online conference and let Bitcoins not bombs, you know.
Like we got a great moderator talking to us right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Richard Branson did it. Why can't we do it, right?
Oh, yeah. Maybe, that would be cool. Good idea, honey. Thank you.
Whatever.
That's awesome. That is a great idea. Well, and it's interesting you say that because it's something I've talked about with Thomas Hunt of Mad Bitcoins, and he also does the Bitcoin group. We were like, we need to do this epic long. He was even talking about because the longest you could do a hangout for is 8 hours. So we were kind of throwing around the idea of like, what if we did just a super long continuous hangout where you just have people coming in gradually every couple hours and just see how long it'll go. But I think a conference would be a really great idea because, yeah, they're so expensive. I mean, I don't have like $400 even in Bitcoin to go see a conference when we have the internet now. We have the technology to make this very accessible to all people. So.
Oh man, yeah,
because we can have like viewing parties in our different locations, like the libraries where people might not have personal internet, those kinds of things. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, man.
That'd be
Look, look.
Yeah.
We just thought of something.
We're down.
All together. Yeah, we're down. Put us down for speaking. If we get this together, I think we should just talk more off camera about possibly doing that.
Yeah.
I think that would be really awesome. And it's a completely free conference because people can just sit in their underwear at home if they wanted to with a suit jacket on.
Don't get on camera though.
Yeah. With a suit jacket on, right?
Don't stand up if you're not wearing pants.
They don't have to go anywhere. I mean, I really think that would be like really, really super awesome.
Yeah.
And even put maybe a lunch break in between where you can buy stuff with Bitcoin and get it delivered to you, like all around the country and the world. It's like, hey, let's everybody buy KFC with Bitcoin or whatever. Kentucky Fried Chicken, we're in Kentucky, so I gotta give a plug. No, but seriously, I think that would be crazy. Look, I'm over here really thinking about it. Man. That would be really awesome. So.
Well, I'm absolutely down. I think this is a great idea. So yeah, let's do it. So we'll talk a little bit more off camera and really get it structured. But I know a few people who I think would be really interested in this. So yeah, let's do it. This is gonna be happening, everyone. So keep an eye out.
Yeah,
it's been declared.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Megan.
Thank you guys. It's always great talking with you. You always have so much to say, and you're doing the work. You're putting in the effort, and that's what's really beautiful. Is you're changing lives with this technology. You're not only saying it can change lives, you're actually changing lives with it. and that's just amazing. So you guys get in touch with Lamar and Lafe from Pheeva. They'll be speaking at Bitcoin in the Beltway. Their talk will be the least of these and the giving economy. And if you're in Kentucky, definitely stop by and give them a shout out. So thanks so much again. It's great talking with you guys.
See ya.
Thanks, we appreciate it.
Thank you all. All right.
All right. We'll see you next time.